Filling out the FAFSA form can be an absolute chore, but it's something that you don't want to miss because it's the very first step to unlocking the potential to get thousands of dollars in money in order to fund your college or your trade school future. Hey guys, my name is Justin Collard with Thrive Success Services, and today we're going to tackle the FAFSA. And specifically, I'm going to give you all of the information that you need in order to be ready to fill the form out the first time you ever sit down. All right, so this is how to fill out your FAFSA on studentaid.gov. That's the official government website, and it's the safest method to fill out your FAFSA. It's way safer than filling out the form and sending it in the mail, because when you fill it out online, it's not going to get lost. And so I highly recommend that you fill out your FAFSA using an online tool, and this one today is going to be from the government. So the first thing you got to do is create an account. Now, there's multiple people who are going to need accounts, and as of this recording, FAFSA is going to be released sometime in December for the 24-25 school year, and they've made a few changes on who needs an account. So they're calling them contributors to the form, and a contributor can be a parent, the student, a step-parent, okay, or any other legal guardian that's going to be providing information for the student's financial aid. So you'll need to figure out who all needs to actually have a FAFSA ID before you can even open the form and getting it filled out. Now, there's a lot of information you have to collect for both the student and any parent that's involved, including step parents. And so we're going to start with the student first. Of course, you're going to need the student's first name and last name, but you'll also need the student's social security number and their citizenship status. They ask for the citizenship status because only certain people are eligible to get FAFSA financial aid. It also wants to know if the student is married or not. And then it jumps down and it asks questions about parent 1 and parent 2 and the highest level of education they've completed. Now again, this is the older form that I'm using when section or in the link in my bio, and I hope that you do, because doing a little bit of research and getting all the information beforehand is going to make filling out FAFSA way more enjoyable than it is without it. The last part of section 1 is going to ask the student if they qualify for any of these things. And if you check a box and you truly do qualify, you are going to skip to page number 4. And that's because you are not dependent on your parent or your legal guardian. You are actually independent, and only your finances are going to count towards what you get for financial aid. However, most students filling out the FAFSA don't qualify for any of these things, so they're most likely going to be dependents of their parents, and they will have to have their parents fill out the rest of the form. So the question probably is, who is considered a parent? First, it's the biological parent, the mom and dad that conceived you. That's who's considered a parent. Or a legally adoptive parent. If you've been legally adopted by someone, then they can be considered your parent. Or in some cases, a person that's been determined by the state. Again, another legal designation. To clarify that, let's talk about who is not considered a parent. If you have a grandma or a grandpa, they are not considered your parent. Foster parents aren't considered your parents. Legal guardians aren't considered your parents. Older siblings aren't considered your parents, and uncles and aunts aren't considered your parents unless these people have legally adopted you. So that legal guardian, they might have legal power over you, but unless they've legally adopted you, they don't qualify as a parent for the purpose of the FAFSA. I know it's strange, but that's just how the FAFSA works. Here's another important thing to take into consideration. What if my parents are divorced or remarried? Well, there's several different scenarios that you have to consider here. First, if your legal parents are living with each other, married or not, so if they're married and they live together, or they're not married and they live together, you're going to answer the Section 3 question, which is all about your parents, about both of them. If your parents are separated or divorced, so maybe they were together and they're no longer together, but they didn't go through divorce, or if they did legally go through the divorce process, provide the information on the one parent you lived with the most in the last 12 months. If you didn't live with one parent more than the other, maybe there's like a 50-50 type of situation, then you fill out the form for the parent that provided you with the most financial support. So who gave you the most money, who provided the most clothes, who provided you the most food, all those types of things, who took care of your needs financially, you would provide that parent. Next, another caveat is if your parent has remarried, you also have to provide the information about your step parent. So if you listed that one parent, right, and they're still not with anybody, they didn't remarry, then you just leave it at one. But if you listed your one, let's say, biological parent, and they have been remarried and you now have a step parent, you'll have to provide information about your step parent too. And again, all of these people are going to have a FAFSA ID in order to fill out the form. The information that you need to have all ready for your parents when you're filling out this FAFSA form, or the step parent that you're filling out the FAFSA form for, you have to have their social security number, their name, and their date of birth. So automatically, to move forward on the form, you have to have the social security number, the name, and the date of birth. So you really want to make sure you get those things because collecting this information ahead of time is going to make you filling out this FAFSA form way easier, whether you're a student or a parent filling it out. You're going to want all the information that you need in order to be successful on this form. The next section is all about the parent's income tax, okay? Income tax is something that everybody who works has to pay. It's just a part of living in the United States of America and other countries for that matter, and they want to know this information so that they can determine what level of financial aid you can receive from the federal government. Now, for high earners, this means that you're probably only going to qualify for loans, but if your family is a low-earning family, you really want to make sure you get this information correct because it's going to open up possibilities for you to get free money in the form of grants. And you really want to be able to do that because sometimes these grants can pay for your entire college experience depending on if you're eligible for certain things. Now, my suggestion is if your parents do file a federal tax return, they should use the IRS data retrieval tool. It's just going to go in and pull all their information from their previous taxes that they filed and automatically import it. And that ensures that the information is correct and it's the same that they reported to the government in the past. You can fill it out manually, but I highly recommend just using the data retrieval tool. It makes it so much easier. And again, notice this is the older form. This will be updated in December. The dates will be more accurate whenever they release the new form. Then it's going to ask if your parents have any of the following: additional financial information or untaxed income. Again, if you're a student filling this out, you're going to want to ask your parents these things so you can already know. And then if you're a parent filling this out, they're asking you this information so they can determine the eligibility of what your child can receive. The final question of this is for the students. So if you notice, purple was for parents, black is for students. It's the same thing. If you had a job and you were a student and you filed an income tax return, they just want to know how much you were earning and how much you made. This is especially important if you are an independent student. You don't have any parents who are providing for you. You'll want to put your income in and your spouse's income in if you're married so that they can determine your eligibility and get you the fair amount of money that you need. Here at the end, they also ask if anyone in your household received any of these special services. And they asked the additional financial information and untaxed income questions that they asked for the parent. Now, this isn't the actual FAFSA form. This is something that they call FAFSA on the web. It helps you kind of get all the information that you need. I've taken this information and kind of turned it into an easy checklist. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But this is a great way to get jump started to filling out the FAFSA, making sure you have all the information that you need in order to get it done quickly so that you can put your colleges in, click that submit button, send it over, and start receiving financial aid packages from the government and even from the schools itself. This isn't just to get government money. The FAFSA actually unlocks millions of dollars that colleges have that they want to give out, but they can only give to people who have filled out the FAFSA. So this is like scholarship level 1. You got to fill out the FAFSA. You got to make it happen if you want to get access to some funding. So there you have it. There's all of the things the FAFSA is going to require you to fill out. Now, again, I want to remind you, this was based off of last year's form. They're supposed to release a new form at the time of me filming this in December of 2023. That'll be for the 24-25 school year. It's got some minor changes and some things that you'll need to do a little bit different when it comes to logins. But that's all covered on studentaid.gov if you need any more information or help about that. Again, please avoid any scams as well. You never have to pay to fill out your FAFSA form unless you choose to hire someone to do it for you. Otherwise, filling out the FAFSA is completely free. And like I said, it unlocks so much potential for scholarships and grants and loans. And don't forget, I have that checklist in the comment section or in the link in my bio. It's going to let you write down all the things that you need in order to fill out the FAFSA so you can sit down, get it done quick, and call it good. Thanks for following along, and for more tips and tricks on how to be successful in academics and life, follow me, like, share, subscribe, do all those things. And remember, at Thrive Success Services, don't just exist, thrive.